Who the taught you how to spend your money? It's not too late to learn how to manage your wealth the right way. And you've come to the right place if you're struggling to make millions, or maybe keep your millions, or maybe make more millions with your millions. I'm sick of hearing everyone talk about what could have been if they just saved more of their money or invested more of it. So like this video for the algorithm and subscribe for more tips, because today we're diving deep on how you should be spending your money once you succeed in e-commerce. So you're an e-commerce millionaire. Oh, not yet? Okay, let's take a few steps back. You're an entrepreneur? Oh, okay, also too soon. Okay, we're really starting from scratch. You're just a regular person trying to find your way to success, asking yourself big questions about your purpose, mission, and what will drive you to build a legacy. And you think once all of that happens, everything will just come into the place financially? If you rely on a career to find you, that probably wouldn't happen. And if you're relying on having a boatload of cash to show you the promised land when it comes to spending and saving your money, you're simply looking at finances the wrong way. Stop leaving things up to luck and chance. Take control of your income and how you spend it. What are cash flow archetypes? No matter what point they're at in their lives, every person resembles a cash flow archetype. Well, I hope at this point cash flow is self-explanatory, but an archetype? Think of this as a character that you play in life, except this character is all about how you deal with money. So some people are big spenders, some people like to save money, some are investment gurus and they're investing in different things. Some people just act like they're allergic to budget. So why does any of this matter? Why is cash flow important? Well, grasping the nuances of personal cash flow, the intricate dance of your money coming in and going out, isn't just about crunching numbers. It is crucial for anyone with their sights set on a stable financial future. Recognizing where every penny is allocated empowers you to sidestep debt, dodge over-reliance on rainy day funds, and tailor your financial strategy to fit the here and now of your life's journey. But don't get it twisted. This is a constant cycle of adaptation and growth. It doesn't come overnight, especially if you haven't grown like in a very entrepreneurial or rich family. Taking control of your cash flow is a deliberate lifestyle choice. Understanding your cash flow archetype is like having a proper roadmap for spending and saving your money effectively. Depending on the career path that you've chosen, which on a deeper level often correlates with the phase of life that you're in, there is a ways that you're technically supposed to invest and budget your earnings. Sometimes this even extends to how you make your money between jobs, projects, or side hustles. So how do you identify your archetype? Allow me to explain. So for starters, let's not overcomplicate things. This all begins with a very basic Gary Vee style principle that for some reason a lot of people like to neglect: self-awareness. You have to understand your DNA. Don't do things just because I do them, or Steve Jobs does them, or Mark Cuban tried it. You need to know what your personal brand and stay true to it. These are Gary Vee's words, not mine, but I completely agree. Before you can start living like a particular archetype, you have to figure out what you're good at, and most importantly, what you're passionate about. Juggling your passions and figuring out the next steps can be very difficult. At the end of the video, I explain what business or line of work you should get into based on your personality archetype. So make sure you stick until the end. But before I get too specific, let's break things down into groups. From my perspective, people tend to align with 5 main archetypes. Number 1 is a lifestyle enthusiast. This archetype tends to prioritize balancing work and life, choosing experiences and instant gratification over the pursuit of long-term financial accumulation. These people are usually in a gig economy, freelancing, or part-time positions. Many of them live in Miami, Dubai, and other hotspots, and some are very successful entrepreneurs. They try very hard to impress other people that oftentimes don't even care about them. If this is you, make sure your budget can accommodate the roller coaster of ups and downs of your income. Your lifestyle costs might be more than what you make, so slow down and reassess. You always want to make sure that your basic living costs are covered. And another tip, have a big emergency fund. I call it the war chest. That also might be crucial for bridging the financial gaps between jobs and gigs. Investment-wise, focus on enhancing yourself and acquiring new skills and knowledge to make sure that you make even more money instead of spending it all on lifestyle, cars, watches, clothes, all of that stuff. Number 2 is a scholar. These people usually strive to balance their finances to further their research or studies. Like the lifestyle enthusiasts, they manage irregular income by allocating their grants or stipend funds to navigate through dry income periods. They're usually looking for a alternative income by consulting or creating tutorials online. They typically don't have access to employer-sponsored retirement savings plans, so checking out individual retirement accounts, IRAs, ensures that they're not just securing their immediate financial needs, but also laying the groundwork for their futures. And just to put a pause on this real quick, I have nothing against people who go to college and put their work to get their degrees and study for medical or maybe engineering degrees, but I'm also a huge proponent of what we like to call YouTube University. Of course, there are certain things that YouTube cannot teach you, like how to have good social interaction with real people, IRL. Yes, I'm talking to you. You're probably watching this right now in the public on the Apple Vision Pro right now. But let's be honest, you could probably figure out how to do that on YouTube too at this point, so I guess just let's skip the goggles and you can do whatever you want. Now let's go back to cash flow archetypes. For the third archetype, we have what I like to call the company man. This archetype zeroes in on the reliability in the workforce, and rather than rolling in the dice, they like to stay safe and gradually accumulate wealth. The keywords for this type of person is stability and a consistent paycheck. Some top-performing skilled people manage to create their own businesses inside of other businesses. I call these entrepreneurs. They might have valuable skills that they apply to grow a specific area of the business, and then they're pretty much building their own teams around it. If this sounds like you, maximize your retirement savings by leveraging employer-sponsored plans like 401ks. Also, go beyond retirement savings and craft a diverse investment portfolio in corporate assets like mutual funds, stocks, crypto, and real estate, so you have the growth in your portfolio and wealth over the long haul. You should also prioritize protecting your assets and loved ones through insurance coverage and estate plans. For number 4, we have self-employed, or as some people call them, the small business owners or mom and pop shops. These people navigate the world with their financial fate closely tied to their business performance. They must maintain a clear division between business and personal finances to streamline their cash flow and tax obligations. If you find yourself in these shoes, your key focus should be constantly, but not so constant that you go broke, and consciously reinvesting back into your business. But while you're doing all of this, do not neglect your financial security. This is a delicate balance, and this is why only some people are cut out to be small business owners. But what if you own a business that is not small at all? What if it's an enterprise? Or what if it's like just full-fledged e-commerce empire? Then you find yourself in my final category. Last but not least, and quite honestly, in my opinion, the best, the visionary, aka the founder or the philanthropist. These are in short the head honchos. So if you think they're running the world behind closed doors, is because honestly, they might be. They're high risk, high reward people. They can be found in any industry like technology, entertainment, social enterprises, but they usually start with considerable financial instability. You hear about all these people in the stories, news, bootstrapping their ways to become millionaires and billionaire tycoons. They put effort into every waking minute of the day to make sure that they become the kings and queens of their respective industries. They don't get bottlenecked by the fear of the unknown. They stick through the adversity and just keep building. For visionaries, risk mitigation is crucial. If you're a visionary, if you're watching one of my videos, remember to diversify your income sources and ensure that your investment portfolio is separate from your primary venture. If your empire tanks, you'll have a safety net. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket. Adapting a lean lifestyle is another key tactic for visionaries. By minimizing personal and operational expenses, they can extend their venture's runway and financial reserves. Things will change constantly, so you have to stay on top of financial health, budget adjustments, and wealth management. The biggest mistake that I have seen high-level e-commerce entrepreneurs making after making millions, tens of millions, even hundreds of millions of dollars is a poor capital allocation. They either underinvesting in their businesses, or most cases they're overinvesting, and then they sit on a lot of cash tied in inventory. And at the same time, their personal accounts might not have good enough war chest. Minimum war chest I believe every person needs to have, their archetype doesn't even matter, is $100,000 or at least 1 year of personal expenses for you, for your family, fully covered. Once you get there, the next benchmark is 1 million or 10 years of personal expenses. And then it's $10 million for real ballers. So even if your business goes under, you have that war chest and you can secure your family, you can figure out what to do in the meantime, but you don't have to stress out. So having a properly sized war chest is what will allow you to sleep well at night, knowing that you and your family are protected, at least to some degree, from getting fired, business inconsistencies and other things. Which archetype you think you are? Just let me know in the comments. You might ask, will I be stuck as one one of these for my entire life? Absolutely not. It's natural to transition across these archetypal categories. I would even argue that sometimes it's necessary. Your personal evolution reflects changes in your age, lifestyle preferences, and in turn, your financial strategies. Don't resist these shifts. Embrace them. You might have already put this together, but most people start as lifestyle enthusiasts. Don't pretend like you just build an e-commerce empire overnight while you were in high school. And even before that, there was a time when you were a kid waiting to get your next $5 to go to buy these snacks that you love at 7-Eleven. That would be like a massive win at that age, and you're truly enjoying your lifestyle. So everything is relative and everyone starts somewhere. So how does this all tie back into e-commerce? Well, let's talk about my journey through these archetypes and you'll begin to understand. So I grew up very poor back in Ukraine. I was born in 1990, just before the Soviet Union collapsed. And when I was a kid, my family didn't have a lot of money. We were very poor and my mom had to go abroad to make money. I didn't have money, so I didn't have any financial education. So I was like a lifestyle enthusiast, right? So I was making a few dollars here and there. And so my journey, an evolution, didn't start really until I was about 24, 25 years old. We just got married with my wife. We were not making a lot of money. We started getting into the business. At the beginning, it was very hard. And so the first things that we would buy, when we start making some money, it was just food. We just get better food. Before, we couldn't even afford the food. So I started progressing and we were starting to make more money, but I kept my expenses very low. I kept them very conservative. I wouldn't spend money on anything. And because I was so scared of poverty, I was just accumulating money. That was my way to deal with it. And so after I had my first success in e-commerce, I made about $4 million in about 15 months or so with my first proper e-commerce business that I had success with. And I made about $1 million in profit. And so you would expect that if I was making that amount of money, I started spending that money everywhere. I started buying, watches and cars and stuff like that. But I didn't do any of that. And even after I exited my business, sold my business for 7 figures, which was very nice. So I made about $2 million. I had $2 million net worth at that point of time, which for a lot of people is a lot of money. And the mistake that I made there, I didn't spend any money. The only thing that I bought after I made $2 million basically was Louis Vuitton sunglasses. And it still hesitated a lot. They cost $600 or so. But me and my wife, we allowed ourselves some travel, so we started traveling. We started, watching and seeing different places. I got a lot of inspiration from traveling. So even if you don't have a lot of finances, even if you don't have a lot of capital right now, I highly encourage you to travel. Even if it's next country, maybe a few countries from you, maybe it's a different state if you're in the United States, your exposure to different people, different things, that will open your eyes to the possibilities around the world and you will start thinking differently. And so because of my beliefs in money, and I just knew how to conserve the money, how to save the money, I didn't know how to invest the money. So I was kind of small business owner stage, right? I wasn't visionary yet. I didn't know how to build a team. I didn't know how to invest in my business. And that was my biggest mistake on that stage, because if I knew how to invest money into the business, if I knew how to hire people, if I knew how to expand the business, considering the competition levels at that point of time, I could have turned $2 million into $100 million in a few years, but I didn't know how to do it and it took me years to learn it. So that's why I'm sharing this with you. So maybe it will serve you as a lesson that once you started to make some money, you have to learn how to allocate it. You have to learn how to invest it. You have to invest into yourself, into your skills, into knowledge, getting access to certain people. So you learn new information that will take your business to the next level. At the same time, you have to invest in your team. You have to hire great people, train them. You have to invest in their training and their coaching so they become better as your business grows. That could be one of the biggest leverage points that you could ever have in business. Also, as I started to work different jobs, I always was saving money. That was just my modus operandi. I wanted to protect myself from the external world, and the only way that I could protect myself was to save money and make sure that even if I get fired, even if something happens, I have a war chest so I can sustain myself and my family for some time. Throughout that journey, I didn't have the self-awareness to know which archetype I was, and maybe if I known my archetype sooner, I would be a lot more successful by now. But at the same time, I followed my strengths and weaknesses and eventually figured out, even though it took, several years, exactly what I was passionate about and how to make millions of dollars in sales and e-commerce. So in short, I was a young and hungry entrepreneur once, just like you. I didn't know many things. I had to learn many things. I made a lot of mistakes. So if you're there, don't freak out. Everything that you want to do, you can do it. Since you stuck around, just like I promised in the beginning of the video, I'm going to explain how to pick your industry or field of entrepreneurship based on your personality. Let's start with the profession. I found a website called Apt AI. It's going to use a combination of various personality tests and market reads to help me figure out, what career path I should be doing based on my personality. Not only this will help me to find a career, but also it will help me to learn how to best communicate with others and use similarity models to figure out the best alternatives for me. You should check out my recent video on AI to see what other machine learning tools you can incorporate into your life. But if you feel like these tools are not working for you and you're just spitting out generic response prompts, just look at your financial statements and what you spend money on. Typically, your spending habits, big or small, are extremely indicative of what your passions are. So for me, for instance, I spend a lot of money on education. I buy all of the courses I can see, I buy all of the education, I buy masterminds, I buy masterclasses. I like to invest in new knowledge, new information, and that's my passion, right? And literally, if I look into it, my wife is like, oh, you bought another mastermind? Oh, you joined another mastermind? Oh, you go to another event? I like learning. I like meeting interesting people, and that's what my passion is. So you have to figure out what your passion is, and you can do that by simply looking at your bank statements. It's that simple sometimes. And if everything else fails, just think about what media you typically consume. Go to your YouTube search history or watch history, and this will point you in the right direction. Oh, I enjoy watching videos about bodybuilding. I like watching like fit people. Maybe you should go all in on sport. Maybe you should go to the gym more often because that is your internal passion. Or if you're watching videos about e-commerce and you've been doing that for months or maybe even for years, but you haven't pulled the trigger to start your own e-commerce business, maybe you should do that today. Maybe you should open your Shopify store today and start moving in that direction. Typically, your spending habits, big or small, are extremely indicative of what your passions are. Quick side note, since you're already watching my e-commerce videos, you might have already landed on what you're passionate about. And if that's something you're interested in, I have a program called E-commerce Scaling Secrets that can help you take your Shopify store to insane heights. So click on the link below, book a short form, and we will see if that's the right fit for you. If any of the techniques before helped you realize that you meant to be an entrepreneur, here's a little bonus tip for you. The personality test can also extend to what type of entrepreneur you should be. Not everyone can be multi-million-dollar like fashion designer, just like not everyone can be a CEO of major space exploration company. Now, I might be biased, but I believe e-commerce is honestly the best avenue for wealth accumulation. It may even be its own archetype. All of these other gurus, preaching social media marketing, starting an agency, like doing video editing for clients, the list goes on and on. All of these are not really worth it when you compare them to the margins and gratification that you'll get if you create an e-commerce empire, and also the scalability that it has compared to service businesses, for example. You can do $1 million per month in sales with e-commerce only with a team of 5 to 10 people. Try doing that when building your agency. Good luck to you. E-commerce is a very scalable vehicle. You can literally sell the same product to millions of people without changing it. And since you just made all this way to the end, let me tell you about how I'm spending and saving my money these days. So right now I have two businesses. One of them is e-commerce businesses, another one is education business. So both of these businesses are cash flow positive. So we have a portfolio of e-commerce brands that is funding itself pretty much, and profitable. And we have education business that's also profitable, self-sustainable. We have the whole team, the whole infrastructure in order to support our clients. And so the objective for us is to sell e-commerce business for at least $100 million. Ideally, it's $200 million. We're projecting all of our numbers based on that, and we want to get there in about 3-4 years. So in order for me to do that, in order for me to grow business faster, like in e-commerce, sometimes you need inventory, you need to accelerate certain processes, you need to hire certain people. We're infusing capital that we take from education business, and also I have some other ventures that are, kind of like side projects. I have some pretty good like crypto portfolio and other things. I'm infusing that capital back into e-commerce to grow it faster. Besides that, as our business makes profit, we're relocating it into real estate, and we're investing in real estate back in Poland. We're not buying any real estate here in the United States for now. And so I accumulated pretty decent portfolio of apartments that we're renting, that are cash flowing, that are also producing some extra money. I have some passive sources of income and I have some active sources of income. And I believe you need to have both. Jay-Z made his money with music, selling records, doing events, doing stadiums and stuff like that. But then he took that money and he invested in different businesses. I believe that is the future. So you make money actively and then you take that money and you're investing in some projects that are growing over time that will make you rich in the long term. If you know how to grow the business, if you know who to hire, if you know what products to invest in, when to invest into inventory and other things, the business will be your best investment that you can imagine. So stock market grows like 10-15% a year. With e-commerce, if you invest into your business, you can grow your business 100%. You can grow your business 200%. You can grow your business even 1000% a year. But even if you grow your business 30-40%, that's still a lot better than if you invested that money into S&P 500. So once you start a business and a business has some potential, think how you can allocate your capital. If you need any help with that, again, E-commerce Scaling Secrets, our advanced program where we basically connect high-level entrepreneurs with exchanging insights with each other, and I'm personally guiding entrepreneurs with their capital allocation decisions, hiring decisions, any important decisions that they have in business. They bring it up to me and I give them guidance. Not all of you will be able to become masters of e-commerce. Remember, in Gary Vee's words, a penguin cannot become a giraffe, so just be the best penguin you can be. Don't force yourself to be something that you're not. Be authentic, remove the white noise, and stay true to yourself. If staying true to yourself is actually becoming a master of e-commerce, or maybe you just want to join a community of industry-leading e-commerce entrepreneurs, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to get notifications every time we drop a new video. And I'll see you guys in the next one.